Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Put the mic in front of you.
Be so gracious on me. I haven't done this in a long time.
Take it out of there and hold it to your mouth. Yeah, just put it right up to your mouth.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Julia Shapiro. I am the founder and owner of Shapiro Consulting, LLC. I am not an attorney. I cannot give legal advice. I'd love to say that first because I do not want to get in trouble. Okay. So what I do is I help people do legal documentation, help them to kind of navigate the court process, and I can do all of Indiana. So just a little bit about me. I have my master's in social work. I have a bachelor's in criminal justice. I have an associate's paralegal degree. And I worked for a non-for-profit for over 17 and a half years. 7 of that, I was the CEO of a treatment center. So that's where this kind of all started. During COVID, I kind of, wanted to figure out something different with my life. So I wanted to figure out something that would help people, because that's my, social work heart. But I also wanted to put my other 2 degrees in place somewhere. So I came up with Shapiro Consulting. And so I've been in existence for just over almost like 3.5 years. So the barriers, I wanted to make my business to be able to help people with lower income who couldn't afford to go to an attorney, who couldn't receive any help. And I've seen that from my background of a lot of people got out of prison, came to our treatment center. They had a suspended license, and then sometimes they would violate that because they're still driving, trying to go to work, trying to navigate the system, don't know how to get their license back. And they would end up back in prison because they would get caught again, violate, and go back. So a lot of times you see, even with criminal expungement, without, a license, people can't get to work. They can't, overcome a lot of barriers because they just don't know how to navigate the system. With criminal expungements, it's hard for people. It can block you from jobs. It can block you from housing. To actually find an apartment somewhere is kind of difficult for people who have a criminal background. So just getting to the court forms. The forms are there. Anyone can fill out the forms that I fill out. They are pro se forms. So they are on the Indiana website. The problem is a lot of people don't either A, have the time, or B, have the understanding of everything that needs to be filled out. They just don't know. So these are some of the forms that I fill out. I can do the driver's license reinstatement, powers of attorneys. I go into a lot of assisted living facilities. I talk to them about why it's important to get a power of attorney. And then I can actually go back to them, meet with them and their families on site. So I try to do this like some little traveling stuff to get out there, get my business out there more. Criminal expungements. I can do name changes, divorce forms. If they're non-contested ones, I can do those, anything that's a simple court form. And then I can walk everyone through the process of what's going to happen next. So here's just a little testimony from a client. They've gone years without a valid driver's license. They had fines, reinstatement fees. I don't know if anybody has ever seen that, but the state of Indiana will charge you reinstatement fees. And I've seen fees literally up to $8,000 on some people from just violating and And so I do have a way around that where you wouldn't have to pay that, but you do have to pay any of your back tickets. A lot of times, the courts, if you haven't paid a ticket in a long time, they will actually send that to a collection agency. So you have to pay that because a collection agency will not release it unless it's paid. So that becomes a lot of problems too with people not knowing where to start at. So like I said, I founded it in 2022. These are some of my milestones of where I'm going through. I just completed the City of South Bend entrepreneur class. I'm working with a big business coach. I've always done my business part-time, and this is the first year that I'm doing it full-time. So I hired a business coach. Yep, I'm trying to get this going. I've given myself 1 year to make this happen. And then I am growing my referral network. I'm out here, and I thank you guys for allowing me to do this as well. I can serve all 92 counties in Indiana. These are some of my things that I want, my goals that I want to set in the next 3 months. I want to submit some grant applications for some community education funding. I am working on a curriculum to help people with their driver's license so they can start and understand even how to read a driving record and what needs to be done. I'm building referrals. In my 6 months, I'm really pushing to hopefully find some grant funding so I'm able to do some programming for some people who can't afford it. And really partner with some non-for-profits that will be able to help me, because it's hard when you are just a LLC of applying for a lot of the grants. They do want you to be a non-for-profit or partner with one. And these are some of the things that I would love if someone could help me or guide me in the right direction, really on how to do some more marketing and sponsored ads, some grant connections if you know of any, and then some community partners. These are just some of the things that I really need help with at this time.
Well, I think you should come next week to, we're going to be talking about the Awesome Foundation. So in South Bend, they have, if you live in South Bend or in the Mishawaka area, they're looking for people to apply for that. So we'll be talking about how to go about that, and we'll be featuring one of the winners of that fund next week. Okay. And then also, you should come to the classes that we have once a month that Felicia teaches. Right here, she's executive director of the Mishawaka Business Association and Inspire Mishawaka. And she talks about grants, funding, getting your business ready for that. And then she could join the Mishawaka Business Association. And
you get expert support for writing grants, and then my business itself is finding and helping people secure grants. So we should definitely meet and talk and see how we can get you connected with some opportunities in the short term and preparing for the long term.
Yes, I would love that.
Wonderful.
And also,
I wrote grants in my prior, career, but it's a lot different when you're doing it for yourself than with a non-for-profit, because a non-for-profit, you have everything already laid out. You're just putting it in there. Right. For me, I'm really just starting at the ground up of how I can make this work.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
What do you usually charge to help the guys with the expungement of their driver's license?
I start at $550 for my criminal expungements, $300 for the driver's license, and then $250 for a divorce, $125 for a name change. I try to keep it as low as possible. I did just raise my criminal expungement by $50. I don't want to outprice anyone. I want to be able to help. And that's my mission is, being a social worker. I feel like, that is a part of my life of helping people. And I never want to price anyone out that can't afford it.
What was the cost for a POA?
Huh?
The
What?
cost for the power of attorney?
Yes, I do power attorneys.
What's the cost?
125, 150. It just depends on if you want both of them. If you want the financial and the medical, it's 150 for both.
Oh, yeah, actually, that's a good idea.
Yes.
Have you joined an businesses like Michiana Mommies, Granger Mommies, South Bend Moms. I often see people who are on there who are looking for not necessarily legal advice, but like starting the process of either divorces or things
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
divorce.
They do have like once a week where you're able to post your business, and I often see people asking for some of the things that you're offering here.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard for Facebook because they don't want me to put my information there. I know even with the nosy neighbors, every time somebody asks, somebody will tag me, like some of my foreign clients. And that's where I get a lot of things are from people who've already used me. So really the word of mouth has been great for St. Joe County. I want to expand. I can do every single county in Indiana. And that's been the hardest part for me, of really getting myself out there to everyone. I've done somebody's in Fort Wayne, I've done LaPorte County, I've done Porter and Stark County, but I really want to get more out there. And that's one of the things, if I can put it on there, I would definitely put it on there.
There's a way to do it.
Okay.
So the way to do it is go into the groups, introduce yourself, and then talk about your experiences. Oh, I was so happy this week. I helped moms get started on what to do next about her divorce, or what to do about custody, or like talk about what you're doing. And when people like your post, you go into the messages and you friend request them and then talk to them directly. You just can't advertise yourself in the group, otherwise it feels salesy. But you can go into the group, and people as I always tell people, if someone tells you yes once, you can contact them as much as you want. So a like is yes. That's what that means. Yes. So now you have permission to contact them.
And they do have specific days of the week that you can post your
Okay.
business.
Okay.
So I know, I think on Saturdays, in a lot of the groups, you're able to post and talk about what you're doing. So I think both approaches are good. I think good to advocate for yourself, but I also really agree with trying to make sure that you're explaining and giving the value of
What you're
through the
doing.
stories of what you're doing.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
So just to piggyback on that, when I was a pharmaceutical sales rep, and I talked to doctors, all of the companies went to patient profiles, talking about what to do and what the drug did to the patients and how it changed their life. And so that approach is always a great approach. But I wanted to add, you mentioned about getting into other cities. Go back to what I said earlier. There's a 1 million cups everywhere. So if you go, if I were you, I would rotate on the Wednesdays and go into those communities, those 1MCs in Fort Wayne, the 1MC in Indianapolis. The Indianapolis might have a couple 1 million cups. So and then you do this presentation. And I'm sure that would help you expand your business there. A second thing is there are other women's networking groups that are powerful. I think there was a Northwest Indiana
Influential Women
Influential Women Association. There's some associations to contact those associations in those towns. They already have a ready-made audience, and they would love to have you come and speak for them probably. A second thing is the Chamber of Commerce. We have the Mishawaka Business Association here, this is the mode to get to the Mishawaka Business Association. But there's chambers, like on Wednesdays, the South Bend Chamber of Commerce meets. So they love to have speakers. The Rotary Club, there's 2 Rotary clubs in town. So they'll put you on the list to come speak to their Rotary clubs too. And that could be a big one because the Rotary clubs offer volunteer service and they like helping you. So if you get on your list, the Rotary Club probably refer people to you also.
Okay. I appreciate it because it's so hard when you're an entrepreneur and you're trying, but sometimes people price you out of their stuff as well. And I went to a couple different things and I just couldn't afford to pay, the amount of money that they wanted.
But
just
if
to
you
do it.
volunteer to be a speaker or to bring a value to them versus
No charge.
joining all these groups, because you don't want to join all the groups. Nobody has that much time. But everyone's always looking for speakers and resources to give their organization and members, because they want to seem like they're giving their members something.
Okay. I think that one of your values too is trying to reach like a different clientele or proving to other people that you're more competitive in pricing or that you can reach like a bigger audience, it might be interesting if you put together like a one pager that said, here's how much my costs are, here's how much other people are, and here's how much a lawyer is.
And I do have that on my website. So I do have a website, and it's just ShapioConsultingLLC.com. Please go there, look at it. If there's any suggestions, I would love that. I'm continuing to just have it grow and grow. I've put in some, most questions that people get. I think the hardest part for me is people are so accustomed to calling my phone now, and that's okay with me. Sometimes people want to talk to me instead of, doing the consultation piece on my website, which is free. So I will give you, the amount of time you want. Some people only need a few minutes. Some people tell me their whole story and I listen to it. So I do, I really do want to help people.
And just one more recommendation before we wrap up. I really enjoyed, we were talking about the Facebook group, putting yourself out there on there. But what I've also learned is like when people say things in those groups, responding with a sense of like, I've told the people that I've worked with, this is the advice that I have given them. And then that's a way that people kind of know, oh, she don't know what she's talking about. This is interesting.
And I got to be very, very careful because I am not an attorney and I cannot give legal advice, and I have to say that all the time.
Yes.
I do not want to be behind bars myself and have to do my own expungement. So,
Well, the way you can do it is say, oh, I know where resources are for you to get this, get the information or solve your problem.
yeah,
I know the resources. So resources is a generic word. You could be referring them to an attorney. You could be referring them to you, whatever. I'm a wealth consultant with stocks and stuff like that, but I don't give advice on what stocks to pick. So I have to walk the same line as you as a consultant. So, and we can talk about the language and all of that because I've had to refine mine over the years with that. And then I just wanted to quickly say to you that you have a lot of opportunity and it's great support and great suggestions here. You go for it. But we'll go ahead and thank you so much.